Hi, my name is Rajesh Shintre and I work as a head of partnerships here at Invins. I've been involved with Invins for the last 16 years. Today, we are going to discuss on the learning trends of 2024. Now, there are few of the trends that have emerged in the last couple of years and few which have taken the industries by storm. So today we are going to discuss about all of them and understand how it is impacting the e-learning industry. Okay, so to discuss more on this, I would like to take you back to the post-COVID 19 area. That is where we would see a lot of changes happening because everybody was working through home and completing e-learning was the major task for most of these employees there. Okay, while there were a lot of changes that came into the technology then, because no more it was you could just sit and just go through, and e-learning was not the part anymore. People wanted to understand after going through an e-learning, and that's where the need to undergo a lot of changes, the technology wise, might be the way the e-learning was presented, might be the way you could say how the LMS platform was enhanced and stuff like that. Okay, some of this focus that I have seen, and majorly I would like to highlight, is the use of artificial intelligence in e-learning. Now again, this is something that of course I'll be explaining that in depth, because this is something that has really changed the way e-learning was earlier and now. Then the second that comes to my mind is the immersive technologies like virtual reality, then something on micro learning. Yeah, again, there are few of these things that we have already seen. That was one is the gamification part, and the last one least, which I would say has been kind of helping people in the L&D space to make decisions. That's the data driven learning. To start with the part of AI in e-learning, I would say AI has taken the world by storm. It is not only the e-learning space. Of course, there has been a lot of changes in the world happening. A lot of industries are getting affected by in a positive way, like, because the moment I use the word affect, it should not be considered as negative. It is in a positive way that AI has been taking the world by storm. In the e-learning space, what I've seen is using AI, like, one is the intelligent content creation, because this is something that really makes help for most of the learning modules. Because whenever we are talking about a learning module, we would essentially see a kind of a user going through a learning pattern. Okay, with the AI, this thing is changed. What I mean to say is, I would just go through an e-learning module, a couple of e-learning modules, and the third e-learning module will be generated by AI. Isn't it interesting to hear about that? Yeah. Then the second one that I feel and would like to highlight is the hyper personalization. This is something specifically for students, because this may be at this stage it is specifically for a very the audience that I feel is at the student level, because everybody would like to use it, and it's a kind of a copying thing. So what the AI will do over here is it will take that learning experience and convert it into a notes, right? While we can use that part for creation of our e-learning material, but as of now what we are seeing, the trend is for the students level. So you can understand how AI has been impacting school and colleges also. The third, which I feel which and I think would really help, is the online help. Because while I'm doing an e-learning, I may come across an instance where I feel I need a help either from the instructor, or I may have some problems with the software itself, how to use the software, right? The LMS, that is what I mean. So in that case, what happens is with the AI, The AI can immediately, pop up over there. It can ask you relevant queries. Okay, so it will kind of wait for you. The moment it sees that you are stuck on a particular screen, it is going to wait for you and ask that relevant question. So that's kind of a powered chat which I'm talking about. Fourth, for the L&D people, like normally what happens is, as an L&D manager, I am going to assign a set of courses for the employees. Okay, with the AI, the learner, that is the employee, can decide which courses he wishes to have, and the AI is going to accumulate all that information that the user is going to access, blend it properly, and come up with the courses that can be relevant to that person. Okay. As of immersive technologies, I would like to refer to the virtual real simulation, wherein this is essentially good for doctors who are trying to do a live surgery. Because sometimes you need skills for surgeries, right? Because this is related to that, and that's where we are talking about an e-learning which is going to help them. Then coming to micro learning, now this is something which has caught up the trend in the recent in the recent workup. Because see, what happens is, as an employee, there is always a shortage of time to complete the e-learning. Of course, the L&D guys are very generous to help you complete this e-learning, but then you would like to always have a kind of a summary, and that's where this micro learning and bite-sized content comes handy, because it's more of it is not only a kind of a flexible learning, but it also helps you build knowledge retention, because you are just not going through the entire summary, not going through the entire e-learning, but you're just picking up those points. And as a human being, normally whenever we are just picking up those main points, I think the learning is 100% in that case, right? Then as of gamification, I would say, because this gamification has been there just to motivate an employee, of course this has remained for a very long time. Only thing, the usage of late has increased, because definitely we would like to see what is the return on investment, essentially, because unless content there is a return on investment on the content, people will not go through that. And that's where we are talking about gamification. There is a kind of a leaderboards. There are points. Once you complete a specific point, you get some sort of freebies kind of thing. Sometimes even the learner can have his own narration, wherein he can just explain what he learned through that, and then he can record that and feed it into the LMS. That is something that we would need to look at it. The next and the last part that I feel is about the data driven, because as I mentioned, like this area is, like, I would say, it does make use of business analytics over here. There are some tools like business intelligence tools which are there. Now what we do is, most of the time what happens is, there is a kind of a blending. You blend a BI tool with your LMS, you have a learner data over there, you blend all the three together, and then you have an output. Now this output can be, we can understand for how many hours did a particular e-learning module was gone through, like how many people went through that module, how many people were really interested in going, because again, you can make a judgment. Again, there is a logic which really plays a very important role. Now the moment you say that, okay, you can extract or filter a data wherein people went through that e-learning for 30 minutes or so. So you can see that a lot of, if you have only a few of them going through the 30 minutes module, then again you can make a decision whether that module really needs an overhauling over there. Like that means it means that you need to change the content over there. And sometimes you may find some of them going through that module again and again. So it actually helps you to predict the outcome. Like the moment you see such people going through that again and again, it is definitely going to be an effective learning program. What happens when too much innovation happens? Now definitely there is an increase of expectations, and in fact this has changed the way we used to look at the learners, the course creators, and the L&D professionals. Because normally I would say earlier it was the L&D person who was the main kind of a decision maker. Of course, the decision maker, plus they are the main contributors because they decide the type of content that is going to be delivered to the end users, right? Now here the learner is the actual contributor. Now when I say that, what I mean to say is, the moment the learner starts going through a program, you enable that with some tools so that you can see what are the different courses that the person is going through. Okay, rather than you sharing a direction or giving a direction to the end user, that's the learner. Here the learner himself is making the direction. So he goes through some specific modules, and that's where you start preparing that. So be it skill, or be it specifically to a skill, or maybe a specific to a kind of a theory, or maybe a function. The moment he starts accessing those particular e-learnings, as an L&D professional, what we try to do is, we try to pick up those points, and with the help of course creators, we ask them to use an immersive technology and bring those into a single e-learning element. Okay, so now the focus becomes more on the skill and on the design itself. Okay, how it is going to help the end user now is, one, the L&D person is going to understand the knowledge gap, because this is something that normally I would say for any person who is going through an e-learning program, there would be some sort of at the end of the day, you would always want to understand what has he understood, what he or she has understood from that entire e-learning. So using this tech, what happens is you are able to identify the knowledge gap. Okay, you keep on recommending. The moment you see the person is recommending the same courses again and again, you are able to understand the weaknesses. Because see, if I'm going through an English communication program again and again, so English communication program, or how to write an email, right? Email etiquette. That means it is highlighting the weakness that I am having, and that is the reason why I am going through that, right? So that's a knowledge gap that I'm trying to say. The next part is the learning style, which I would like to highlight. No more the learner will be having a kind of the menu. He has to go through steps 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of that, the new way of representation is using the way of videos, then kind of simulations that may follow after that, and followed by an assessment. That's the way the learning style has come up, and it can best suit the person. Third is again the pace, which I would like to highlight, is because at times most like it is not against any person not knowing English, or English as a first language, or they're coming from any vernacular medium. In that case, what happens is the pace by which the presenter is going through, so sometimes it can be at a very high speed. So instead of doing that, we are just trying to reduce the speed of delivery in which it has been the video has been shown. You can go step by step, right? It can be a kind of a walkthrough. It helps the learner to understand, okay, now I have to do this, now I have to do this, right? That the moment we reduce the speed, it definitely increases the level of engagement, right? And the moment the level of engagement increases, you see they are trying to go through different programs, trying to access the resources, right? And the moment all these resources are accessed, what happens is you are able to maintain the focus of the learner. The intention here is to maintain the focus of the learner, make him understand what are the different aspects of learning, what were the skill gaps that he had. Using simulations, using videos, you make the person go through the series of steps. Your end result is your employee is fully skilled now. Okay. The next part that I would like to highlight, which I think which we can also think about, is about the usage. Then on the time, run ad, you can say kind of immediately available, just in time kind of availability, kind of instant help, right? while you may allow the learner to the learner to have an instant help, but you can also make the e-learning in such a way that you can also provide the feedback, right? So I gave an example of email, because if I'm continuously seeing the way how the emails are drafted and everything, we allow the learner to type the email for himself, see whether he is able to understand that. That's a kind of instant feedback that you can provide. Then there is this kind of step-by-step guidance, like I make a mistakes, like my grammatical mistakes are there. Now what the system will do is it will kind of underline. Most of the time we see it in some of the softwares like Word and Excel, Word specifically, where you can see a red line over there. So this the thought process is to provide an instant feedback plus give a step-by-step guidance to the end user, the learner, so that he understands he's making a mistake, right? Lastly, you can also work on something like blending, like having multiple questions. The traditional approach would be like A, B, C, D. Now you can custom it, right? Instead of having A, B, C, D, you can go to A, D, C and B, something like that. So that again is a kind of blending. And this innovations, because as I mentioned, the innovation has been really playing a part in this, right? While we have been talking about innovations on at the LMS front, the usage of AI, we have been seeing that into the content development also. That's the automated content development is what I'm trying to highlight here. Usually at a very higher level, if I have to say, AI can now generate summaries of your existing contents, and you can have a quiz, ready to use assessments. You can have a basic module, like based on the number of clicks the person is doing. You can just pick it up, convert that into a more module, and you can work onto a basic course module. Again, then as I mentioned earlier, it again helps you into enhanced analytics. Okay. Proactive identification. Now these are the two areas which I'd like to highlight again. Okay. As of enhanced analytics, it is not about only the person, like the LMS or the course is just going to keep on tapping, like it is just keeping on viewing what the person is going through, right? Here it is not only going to just go through that, but it is going to focus on the areas the person is specifically focusing and putting on time. So for a particular page, if the person is for a particular paragraph, if the person spends around maybe 2 to 3 minutes, it is going to pick that up. That's the enhanced analytics and insights, and that insights can, again, as I said, that it can help you build your basic courses. Apart from this, it can also help you identify the at-risk part for the learner, because it's kind of an early signals about the end user, about the learner, where you can make a judgment saying that the person, this is the area where the person can fall back, or you can say might be the concept may not be very clear to the person. Okay. Then there are a few areas which I would like to highlight. One is the recommendation engine. Again, it will just keep on picking up. I can keep on recommending different courses to my colleagues. Sometimes the AI itself recommends specific courses for the learners. Okay. Instead of having their entire 20 or 30 page e-learning, that is sliders, you can now reduce it to a mere 5 slides e-learning, which can only focus on the areas that is needed for the person's improvement and skill enhancements. Now coming to the challenges and cautions, one is sometimes there is a kind of an ethical thing that also comes to the picture, because nowadays we see everybody using AI for drafting emails. So again, like if this is for professionals, then we cannot leave our students behind, because they may try to copy. You can say they can copy an answer from using an AI and paste it into their main system. So again, that is something that we need to be very much sure about that, right? Then there is a data privacy, because sometimes what happens is, if I'm working on a particular thesis, I have made use of an AI for drafting that entire document for me. Sometimes, because this is a kind of a content which is readily available for everybody, it can lead to data privacy issues, right? And the last, I feel, is the over reliance of using AI for each and every activity. Now this needs to be stopped, because end of the day, AI is just an engine which is working basis your inputs, not the vice versa. Here I see a trend where people fully depend on the AI. I mentioned about the email drafts, which has been happening. Everybody is trying to use that. But that's a very interesting thing to see, because the people whose emails we are not able to understand today, we are able to understand it fully. But then over reliance of that is a potential danger, because then it will kill that person's expressions. It will just go ahead and just kill that person's expression. The person may not be able to express that in a general meetings, because you can't carry AI here and there, everywhere, even in your boardroom as well, right? So while e-learning, we try to blend it with a lot of things. Innovation has come. It is trying to help us post-COVID. The need of digitization has really crept in. Each and everything has been made digitized, so that you can start using it. But then there are pros and cons also. So concluding this, the future of e-learning is very bright, because it is using some concept of AI, the 5 important things that I mentioned at the start, the use of data driven, right? So all these things, in if you look at it in the full picture, it tries to help you build the fantastic e-learning for an easy consumption for your end users. It is going to help you skill, but please remember, it is not going to replace the instructors, because with every advent of technology, there is always that the problems, the negativity that keeps spreading. And I would like to assure you, with the use of AI, it is going to help the L&D people to make a judgment on the contents. It is going to reduce the content size, but end of the day, the content creators are the same people. The end of the day, the person who is going to deliver the training is the instructor only. You cannot replace them. AI is not going to replace them. AI is just going to help them enhance all of them, right? While we talk about creating more engaging personalized learning experience, but we should not forget that all these things is just going to help the end user. Okay. As of the future trends, I see technology like AI has remained, and in the past 2 years it has increased to a very high level. We are talking about Gen AI for contents. We are talking about Gen AI for the LMS to make analytics for ready to use helps, self-learning, self-paced learnings and stuff like that. But it needs people to work on that. Right, it looks very great, and I'm very happy that today I could spend time with you guys. Just in this podcast, I was able to express my views about this new latest technologies that has come in, and I'm sure this is going to help you. Thank you so much for your time, and it was really fantastic to explain, to hear you, explain all these things to you, and I'm sure it is going to help you in a long way. Thank you so much.